Hello! Welcome to Week 3 of HI 201 Health Informatics. This is Dr. Iris Isip-Tan. Last week, we looked at the broader expanse of informatics as it related to global health and e-health. This week, we're looking closer to home. Health informatics in the Philippines, does it exist? From the slide deck of AMIA that you studied last week, you know that health informatics refers to clinical informatics relating or focusing to individuals and patients, and public health informatics focusing on populations and society. I hope that from last week's discussion you have gained an understanding of what health informatics is, because our driving question this week invites us to examine the field of health informatics in our own country. The driving question is, how can we advance the field of health informatics in the Philippines? Our national hero once said, ang hindi marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan ay hindi makararating sa paroroonan. So to answer our driving question, we must need to first ask a directed question. And that question is, what is the state of the field of health informatics in the Philippines? Dr. Marcelo traces the field of health informatics from 1994 to 2006. In this paper, he says, towards the end, and I quote, "At the center stage in health informatics in the Philippines is the Master of Science in Health Informatics program, designed to produce leaders who will push for the needed organizational and technological changes in the health sector." So my dear students, you are a part of history in the making of this field in the Philippines. But Dr. Marcelo wrote that way back in 2006. Many things have happened since then. For example, floppy disks have since disappeared. You will need to research what has happened in health informatics locally since then. Bonus question, how many graduates has the UP MSHI program produced? Now that you know the current state of affairs, perhaps now you can answer this question as well. Because if you can identify these factors, then perhaps you can suggest how to overcome them. The question is, what factors hinder the progress of the field of health informatics in the Philippines? And from there, you can answer the driving question. How can we advance the field of health informatics in the Philippines? For this week, I also included in our resource list a video on the myths of innovation by Scott Berkun. So not everyone is going to come out to be a butterfly, and as Dr. Marcelo wrote about in his paper, his high hopes for MSHI students to become leaders, I exhort you to become change agents as well, because every leader needs to be a change agent. On our reading list is a paper, Diffusion of Innovation in Healthcare by Mary Kane and Robert Mittman. It is 29 pages long, but definitely a good read. The authors explain the 10 critical dynamics of innovation diffusion. Of course, the paper draws on the diffusion of innovation concept by Everett Rogers. So as you can see here in the technology adoption life cycle, we have the innovators, the early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and the laggards. I am hoping that students in the MSHI program are either innovators or early adopters. On this slide is a modification by Geoffrey Moore where he says that there is a chasm that exists and that needs to be crossed between early adopters and the innovators, because early adopters are technology enthusiasts and visionaries, while the early majority are pragmatists. So, the assignment for this week is to create an infographic to answer the driving question. My students from last semester were using PictoChart to make infographics, but I'm sure there are others offering the same service. There are many ways to make this infographic assignment. You can, for example, situate different elements of health informatics in the technology adoption curve. Are we here or here? How can we cross the chasm? Or how can we reach what has been called the tipping point? Or you can create the infographic using the 10 critical dynamics of innovation diffusion. I look forward to seeing your creative work at class. I'll be using the infographic rubric by Kathy Schrock to grade your submissions. Components of this rubric include topic, type, objects, data visualizations, fonts, colors, layout, information organization, and citations. This concludes Week 3 in HI 201 Health Informatics. Next week, we'll talk about sustainability of health information systems in developing countries. See ya!